Some players don't just play angry, they play like the game owes them something. For years, he dragged a franchise that could never quite build the room around him, screaming through every possession like effort alone could break the ceiling. Then one trade moved him out of basketball prison and into a team built for war. Welcome to the Trade Rewind. Let's get into it.
This is one that, will be a callback to some other episodes as well.
Nice.
And this is one that I know you'll like and you'll have a lot of knowledge of.
Great.
This is a trade that some say changed the game completely. Not just in that time, but changed the way roster construction is. So this is a cool one. I've been waiting to do it. We've mentioned it, and now we're gonna do it. This guy was born in South Carolina. You're gonna know him in about 12 seconds. Born in South Carolina in 1976 in Malden, South Carolina. Basketball became an escape and an identity. He was incredibly skinny as a teenager, long arms, massive hands. Very early on, here's where you're going to know it's him. People noticed he played angry, not dirty, not reckless, just emotionally volcanic. Teammates said he competed like every possession insulted him personally. He was a great player growing up. Going into senior year, he transferred to Farragut Academy. I hope I said that right. In Chicago. And this is when everything changed. He became a phenomenon. Chicago basketball in the mid-90s was brutal. It was hyper-competitive. It was physical. It was full of future pros. And this guy, this is where he blew up. Suddenly, scouts saw a 6'11" guy who can dribble coast to coast, throw passes like a guard, defends everywhere, constantly screaming, and playing with a terrifying intensity. This wasn't like now you think that, 6'11" guy dribbling. Now that's normal. In 1995, that was not a normal occurrence. This is the three ball era. Like big guys didn't play like they weren't finesse. They were bullies and physical and clunkers. They didn't move around. When he went to Chicago, there were stories of older players trying to intimidate him, be physical with him. And this guy would just get more and more aggressive. He would talk nonstop during games, teammates, opponents, referees, himself. It didn't matter. He was constantly talking. He treated summer runs like playoff elimination games. Scouts loved him. Some coaches thought he might be too emotional. He went to the McDonald's All-American game, and that's where he kind of also, announced himself. He dominated elite high school competition and became the first player in years seriously considered to go to the NBA directly from high school, which was pretty radical at the time. High school to NBA players were viewed as enormous risks. Most executives thought teenagers, weren't emotionally mature enough, weren't physically ready, and it would just ruin them and ruin their careers. This player changed that perception forever. You know who that is?
Yeah, Kevin Garnett.
Absolutely.
He was the first one.
I'm not sure if he's the first one, but it wasn't like done, and it was considered this major risk. Like people were afraid to do it. It was considered extremely gutsy. You want to check if he's the first ever?
He's not the first
He's not the first ever. It just wasn't a thing that was done, and GMs and scouts liked college players more.
Right.
Just because there's more points of film and there's just more known about a player. When he's in high school, you don't really know him fully.
Yeah. And honestly, it took me a while to get him. I was like lost in there.
Really? I thought when I said it, he played angry and 6'11" and
Well, it's funny because I still think of him as like a more generic big, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, like I didn't think of him as someone who like I was thinking Kevin Durant, but I was
Now you're
way too early.
Yeah,
And he's from Maryland.
It's interesting.
And he wasn't really traded.
I think you're thinking of him a little, at the end of his career where he was
am.
slower, and like when he came into the league, this guy was like a 6'11" point forward.
Because that's when I watched him. He
Right.
was.
Yeah, you watched him at the end.
I watched him on the Celtics. He was like slow,
At the end of his Celtics days, yeah. And obviously we've discussed the trade to the Nets. So It's finally we're coming to the real one. This is the big one.
It's funny. I also like, I don't know, didn't process that like he was such a crazy trash talker.
Really? That's dude, I'm a little disappointed. You're a
I know.
Celtics fan.
It's bad.
Kevin Garnett's known as maybe the best trash talker of all time.
I always think of Larry Bird as the best trash talker of all time.
That could be true. Larry Bird is like, yeah, like Larry Bird might have been like the wittiest, or like Kevin Garnett was on 100 at all times. Like he was always trash talking. Kevin Garnett, the famous video of him in the crowd coming to visit a Timberwolves game, and he's screaming trash talk.
He wasn't even that good at it. Like for someone who's such a crazy trash talker, he didn't really back it up.
He's a Hall of Famer. What are you talking about?
He
MVP.
won, like one championship.
Wow, I'm shocked right now. You're the Celtics fan here. This is crazy. I can't believe this. I was all excited. You're gonna love this guy.
He was my favorite player. Like when I was little, I was
I
always
think you're
number
gonna have to
5.
go back and watch some highlights of him early on. This guy was unstoppable.
I know he was really good, but he didn't win much.
You know, well, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna get there, and there's real reasons behind this, and it goes to GMs and the Timberwolves. We're gonna talk about it.
You know, we've been through this. So that I'm an absolutist, and I only care about
Right.
championships.
You're well, listen, that's not just you, that's Celtics fans as a whole.
It's really Boston fans.
Boston as a whole, and I mean, as a UConn fan, you feel like that too. So I get it. Like you guys, like show us championships. Like we don't care about like cute little conference finals. Like we're done
Although
championships.
it's not like the
Meanwhile,
Ravens and Orioles are not
right,
winning
that's
any
true.
championships.
Meanwhile, me as a Knicks fan, like I'm losing my mind. We're in the conference finals, so I can't really relate. Like I'm seeing the best team of my life playing right now, and we haven't played a conference finals game yet.
I think when this episode comes out,
The Knicks
It's-
might be in the finals.
they should be in the finals, or you'll be severely depressed.
And I'll throw it out there. I've got couple of flyers on them 22-1. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be very happy in a couple of weeks. Maybe not.
I'm just warning you. There's nothing worse than when you make it there
And
just to
lose?
lose.
Yeah, that's true, especially if you're up 2-1 on the Warriors.
I think I had like $3,000 riding on UConn winning the championship.
Oh man. And you were so right about them too.
Yeah.
That's the worst part is you were right about them. And they were so overmatched in that championship game, and they still had a chance at it. It was a weird game.
It was really weird. It was really close to.
Yeah. We can't talk
Can't
about
talk
that
about
again.
this.
All right, let's get back to it. Okay, so there were questions about him, obviously, as a high schooler. Like, are you going to take the risk? 1995 draft night, Minnesota Timberwolves select him 5th overall. The Wolves were in a weird spot. They were barely a franchise yet. They were an expansion team. They didn't have history, no identity. They were always losing. KG walked into like instability pretty quickly. He talks about how it was a culture shock right away. Veterans were testing him. NBA practices in the 90s were violent. There was physical, psychological warfare going on. He talked about how it was overwhelming, grown men and millionaires fighting for jobs. But he adapted pretty quick because of what he's known for. What it is, I would consider what was the greatest thing about him is his motor.
Yeah.
And this is what coaches realized. They never really had to motivate him to work hard. He was just always going hard, practices since he was a little kid. This is like what they talk about. It's just this guy just was always on, and it was always game 7 of the finals for him. KG quickly became a star. His stardom, superstardom, by the late 90s, he became one of the league's most unique players. Obviously, he was a center, a point forward, defensive free safety, emotional leader, and a transition monster. He's like basically the arrival of modern basketball. Like he's the first.
Yeah.
There's a couple of others, but when you think like of what the NBA became, he's the first of that.
Yeah. Like he is someone who you look back at the drafts and you're like, he would still be drafted that high, if not higher,
Absolutely.
in
And
2026.
and when you think about now, when you question, well, can a big switch on the guards? Can he protect the rim? Can he rebound? Can he lead fast breaks? Can he facilitate offense? All those things. He was doing that in 95.
Right.
That just didn't happen back then. He would have been a good big now in the modern NBA, and that's 1995. So he was just really early to the mix, and this is why he was a superstar. Okay, so he becomes a superstar. Now let's talk about how Minnesota fails him. All right. He signs in 1997, he signs a 6-year, $126 million contract.
It used to be a lot.
This was the biggest deal. The NBA world exploded. Owners panicked. Many blamed Garnett for escalating the salaries league-wide. Veterans were jealous. Media criticism became way harder on him. Like, you're making all this money. But Minnesota made it clear, this guy's our franchise. Right? Now the scandal comes. I never heard about this. This is, it makes sense with what happened this year. The Joe Smith scandal. Minnesota secretly arranged illegal salary agreements with Joe Smith. The NBA uncovered it. They were trying to circumvent the salary cap, like possibly Kawhi Leonard, allegedly. And the punishment was huge fines, voided contracts, and loss of multiple first-round picks. This crippled their chance to build around KG's prime years. It was one of the biggest just organizational self-destruction in league history.
Why did they? Who? Can we back up? Who's Joe Smith?
Joe Smith was a player on their team.
Was he that good? Like, why were we doing salary cap circumvention?
Definitely not good enough to be blowing up your future with losing picks and all that.
And
So basically, they paid KG a lot of money, and now they didn't have money. It was a salary cap. They didn't have a lot of money to pay others. So they tried to do some illegal under the table stuff. Hey, we're paying him $1 million a year, but we're actually giving him some money, on the side.
And this is, for context, Joe Smith he's like a journeyman.
Yes.
Like he played for every team in the NBA, basically.
We're talking about someone who is clearly not worth doing some secret side dealing shenanigans.
He was on the Timberwolves for 2 seasons. He averaged 7.5 points and 10.7 points.
So, and this is what I love when we talk about, like, just whenever we do these trades, it always inevitably comes back to like GMs and organizations, and like, look at what a cluster blank this organization is. They're just a disaster. They have the best player maybe in the league at that point, and they just can't help but shoot themselves in the foot and screw it up.
Yeah, that's remarkable. Wow. I had no idea that happened either.
This is why. So this is the story of KG.
Oh, but this is early in his career, no?
Yes. This is early. It's like, what year was that? 99?
Yeah.
It's early in his career, but this is when he's the best in the league.
A little bit before, but yeah.
But this is, so it killed their ability to build around him in his prime.
Yeah.
Is the point.
Yeah. And they were losing, right? Like, these were losing seasons for them, no?
Well, he still dragged them to the playoffs every year. He was dragging them year after year. He became an MVP level player, all defensive, first team.
Well, that's also part of it, right? Is like, if you're dragging your team to the playoffs, you're making the playoffs every single year, which they did, right? So from when he was drafted, they make the playoffs 8 years in a row. And that's just like a different type of purgatory also, where you just can't get a star.
Right.
And you have no assets.
Well,
You
they
can't
lost
trade
some
for
picks.
someone.
They lost some picks because of this. And now they're good enough that they're not getting a top pick.
Yeah. That's NBA purgatory right there.
Absolutely. Like being like a 7th seed in the NBA every year. The Bulls were doing this for years, and now they finally just said we're trading everyone.
Yeah. Got a tank. The tanking worked, by the way. Shout out to the tankers.
The tanking didn't work. Well, it worked for the Wizards and the Jazz.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah. Finally. It's the first time in like 5 years that the worst record got the first pick.
The Wizards are like the most.
They were the worst at tanking that we've ever seen. They tanked for 5 years, and now they finally get a top pick.
I know, but their roster now is just like,
it's gonna be interesting.
I was texting my friend who's a big Wizards fan, but I mean, it's the Wizards, so like obviously they're gonna screw it up. But I mean, their roster seems so good on paper.
Well, there's the biggest question mark for me is Anthony Davis. Are they trading him or are they keeping him? If they're keeping him, then draft strategy changes based on what they're doing with him. There's noise that they're willing to trade down a pick. I don't think they will, because if you don't pick number 1 and that guy becomes a superstar, you're losing your job, like you get crucified. So yeah. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, everyone wants Bonsa to the Jazz.
Bonsa wants Bonsa to the Jazz.
Well, no, no, not the owner of the Jazz is like BYU alumni, big donor.
Right. And I'm saying also Bonsa wants to go to the Jazz.
Yeah.
And there's never a superstar who wants to go to Utah. It's like the one year there is one and you don't get the number 1 pick. Poor guys, poor Jazz.
They might get him though, still, we'll see.
Yeah, and it happens to be if Peterson goes to them, like they're pretty Like, they need that too. Like, they already have bigs, they need shooting, playmaking, so it could be it would work. They're an interesting roster right now. They have Markkanen, Jaren Jackson, and the young big, who they have 3 bigs.
Yeah.
They're an interesting team.
The Wizards are very interesting to me because that's really the move, you know? You trade for I mean, Trae Young and AD are, like, kinda sauce, but
And
presumably they're pretty good players, and then,
Trae Young, AD, Alex Sarr, and Debonsa, like, that's
like,
pretty good.
it seems like a team that should make the playoffs.
I mean, AD will who knows if he can stay healthy, and Trae Young is not the most winning player. The question is, like, Darren, AG Debonsa, who's a guy who kinda needs the ball in his hands. He's not an off-ball shooter yet. And now you put him with Trae Young, who's very ball dominant and doesn't like playing off ball. Like, it could be Darren Peterson fits better there because
Yeah.
he's a better off ball catch and shoot guy. But
I don't know.
Debonsa's the more superstar potential. I'm assuming they're going to take Debonsa. The Wizards could end up taking freaking the guy from Duke. They could take Boozer. Who knows with the Wizards?
Yeah.
But it's a
I'm still trying to stay away from Peterson. I know that this whole story came out that
the creatine.
he was dosing creatine.
By the way, I was on that path that you're on, and now I've actually zagged. I'm coming back to Peterson. I actually think now I'm starting to think like maybe he's misunderstood. And he's gonna be really good.
I just like to me, I'm avoiding that situation.
There's something about like the mental stuff, and I didn't like even watching. We may have talked about this watching with Kansas. First of all, they looked better without him at points. Like when he would go out of games, and they had a couple of big wins without him. And then I remember one game he played very well, and he was getting interviewed post game, and I didn't like that his teammates didn't look like they like him so much.
Although the ESPN article was talking about how everyone loves him and they've been keeping this a secret.
Sure, who's the ESPN article from?
I
It's
know,
from his agent.
it's PR.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of noise that we have to kind of dig through. I'm channeling my inner Bill Simmons and talking body language. I didn't like a lot of the body language stuff I saw from him and from his teammates with him. At the same time, this dude is sick.
Yeah.
And if you look in high school, every time he matched up with Debonsa, he won that matchup. And he's super skilled. They're saying his pro comp in theory like is Kobe, like the way he
Yeah.
plays. Like obviously he might not be Kobe, but like this guy could be really, really good if he figures that stuff out. And you don't want to miss that. This draft is going to make and break a lot of GM's careers because there's 4 or 5 guys, right, who are considered like top picks, and someone's going to be wrong and they're going to lose their jobs for it. I mean, look at Caleb Wilson. Like, what do you do with that guy? That guy's a freak. And in a lot of years, he'd be the number 1 pick even.
I think if he didn't break his hand and miss March Madness and he was playing for North Carolina and they made any kind of run, he could have like propelled above draft.
Did you see the comment he made when someone asked him, like, what is the team getting in you? He's like, they're getting someone who changes the culture. Like, wherever I go, I'm going to go change the culture. We're going to win. Like, just like I did at UNC. Like who talks like that? I love it.
Yeah.
And he's got like this 7'2" wingspan and he's dunking and he if you watch like just his highlights, the guy's a freak.
Yeah, that's my thing with Peterson though, is like,
And then by the way, the analytics say Cam Boozer should go number 1. It's a very weird draft and there's so many good players that someone's going to get fired for screwing it up. And who knows? It's very rare I do this. I've decided I'm doing a deep dive on each of the top 10 prospects and I'm going to make my own list
nice.
of who's going first, who's the order of the draft's going to be, and then also my personal who's going to have the best careers. Like, because it could be the 5th pick, it has the best career. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to guess which the order is, and then also who has the best careers.
We gotta publish it so you can.
So we could go back and flame me when I'm completely wrong.
Exactly.
We'll see. We'll see if we publish it.
I think the thing with
Send us your thoughts on who should go 1 overall.
my only thing with Peterson is if this was a different draft and there was, if we were talking like the first overall pick was supposed to be Anthony Bennett, sure, draft Aaron Peterson because like the risk reward there. But here it's like what you're saying. There's so many top guys. Why would I like? There's just something wrong there. Something's off. Something smells fishy. So okay, if it's me, if I'm the GM, I'm taking someone else. Like I understand that he is the best prospect. And that also goes to show he's by far the best prospect, and everyone's talking AJ Debonsa number 1 because of whatever was going on in Kansas. And
Well, it could be. I mean, Debonsa is also a really good prospect. 6'9", could dribble.
he is, but he's not as good.
Maybe. I don't know. I see a little Paul George in him. which
Let's say
that's a
that.
negative thing. But I also see some T-Mac. I don't know. I think it's such a hard draft. And again, I think also like the make or break of a GM or any team's draft strategy is where do they see Boozer going? Like, what's Boozer in this
Yeah.
mix? And then there's also the question marks. Like, there's some good guards later. Like, is Cuff, who people love, but he's tiny, and there's a lot of question marks. I think Caleb Wilson could go as high as 2 and go as low as 6.
Yeah. It's honestly one of those drafts where if I'm a GM, I maybe would rather be sitting at 5.
Because then you don't have to make a
Right.
choice.
It
I
wasn't
agree with you.
not my fault. Like, I just
100%
Boozer was the only one left.
agreed. I'm so with you. Like, and then you're like, this guy could have been 1, and I got him 5.
Right.
So I'm with you. And I've always said that if I was a GM in football, my draft strategy would be pick 20 every draft and take someone who fell.
Right.
You can never be wrong if a guy fell. Like,
Yeah.
well, he could have been number 10. So
Right. And
it's a weird draft.
when he comes into your building, you'd be like, honestly, we were gonna take you 1 if we had it.
Exactly. It was always a draft day. Take him no matter Vontae Mack, no matter what.
Right. Trade up to take someone I could have gotten at 58.
Exactly. We were taking Boozer at 1, and we just got lucky. We got him at 5.
Yeah. All right.
Great draft. I will be watching this year. Rare I watch a draft because it's so boring. I'm not like a big draft guy. I can look at ESPN and get the updates. I don't need to watch 10 minutes for one pick.
I am a draft guy.
But this year I will be watching.
I love watching. Okay, back to the story.
Okay, back to the story. KG's dragging his team. They always have trouble. They can't build around them. Finally, the year 2004, Minnesota gets their crap together and gets him some help. They get Sam Cassell and Latrell Sprewell.
That's what I think of when I think of help.
But no joke, everything clicks. KG wins MVP that year. Minnesota reaches the Western Conference Finals, and it finally looks like they might break through at some point. Then it collapses. Cassell gets hurt. Sprewell declines. The same ownership shenanigans go on, and the emotional wear on KG becomes very visible, where people see like this is trouble. And the league viewed this. This is crazy. I've never heard this before. By 2007, the league viewed him, and around the league, they would say, this is the greatest player trapped in basketball prison.
Wow.
And this is why when you talk about the story of KG, the story is a guy who carries a franchise for over a decade, becomes one of the greatest players ever, and still spends years wondering if he'll ever truly matter in basketball history. Will he ever get a championship? That's the story of KG, is that this guy was him.
Right.
But it was always, will he ever get a championship? Will he ever get a chance at a championship? Can they ever build around him? And this is why this whole buildup leads to this trade. Meanwhile, so now we're in Boston, and Danny Ainge is the GM, an all-time GM. And the Celtics had been pretty irrelevant, but Danny Ainge believed that stars could revive the franchise pretty quick. In 2007, they tanked, hoping for Greg Oden, which wouldn't have worked, or KD.
KD would have been nice.
Yep. Instead, they fall to number 5, and that seemed like a disaster.
Who do they get at number 5?
I think they traded it, and if I'm not mistaken, they trade that pick for Ray Allen.
There's a draft night trade that sent Ray Allen in the 35th pick to Boston for Wally
Serbiak,
and they already had
Paul Pierce. So now they've ran out Paul Pierce, some flexibility in the cap, and they're urgent. They want it. They feel like they're one piece away. And now, originally Garnett was not interested in Boston. He felt like they were a fake contender, and he's like, I'm not going to another team where to get me they'll trade away their pieces, and now I'm dragging around a team that's not good enough. But he really respected Paul Pierce. His reputation mattered. NBA players respected Paul Pierce a lot more than the media did. And Boston sold KG on tradition, defense, sacrifice, and immediate championship contention. So KG finally agreed, and they make the trade. So the trade is Boston receives Kevin Garnett. Minnesota receives Al Jefferson, Ryan Gomes, Gerald Green, Sebastian Telfair, Theo Radcliffe, and 2 first-round picks. These 2 first-round picks become Wayne Ellington, and this is funny, it becomes Johnny Flynn. They pass on Steph Curry, Minnesota. So Minnesota just can't stop shooting themselves in the foot. This is the year that pick became where the Minnesota had pick number 5 and 6, and Steph went 7. They took
Oh,
2 guys
wow.
instead of Steph. So
Who'd they take?
classic.
Ricky Rubio?
They took Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken. Yeah, Ricky Rubio 5, Johnny Flynn 6. Classic Timberwolves. This is what it's all about. Is no matter what the trades are, is the franchise capable or are they not? And Minnesota just shoots themselves in the foot.
yeah. I mean, NBA draft also though is like
It's not easy.
it's so hard. If you don't have like a top 3 pick, there it might just be scraps.
Yeah.
And then like someone sprinkled in like an all-star at
And
20 and an
but at the same
all-star at
time,
40.
if you're high level and your scouting department's good and you're OKC and you're Presti and you're getting AJ Mitchell in the second round and now he's dominating a playoff series, like
Right.
you can find diamonds in the rough. You could get Jeremy Kane at 16
And then trade.
and then trade. So someone, I'm saying he was 16. So you can find guys that are pieces. You can get
Yeah.
Jokic in the second round, Giannis late. There are people you can get
The
if you do your
Raptors.
research.
The Raptors are always good at
Masai Ujiri
Yeah.
was great, but OKC is the king of it. They're also the king of what I've learned is just a little tangent. What OKC does is they pay you a year early or 2 years early. No, that's not what they do. What they do is instead of taking if you draft someone, I think after year 3 there's a team option, right? You can keep them for one more year at the same rate.
Yeah.
What OKC does is they decline the team option and then pay a 3-year deal, and they're getting you way cheaper than if they kept you for a 4th year and then have to give you a max. So now they have AJ Mitchell on a 3-year deal. He's getting like $3 million a year.
Well,
If
that only works for people who aren't max guys, but yeah.
right, well, it's role players. They're not doing it for superstars, but they're paying these role players early so that they don't have to pay them a lot.
Right, lock them up.
And the role players at the time are willing to do it because like AJ Mitchell was flirting with a 2-way contract.
Yeah.
And now they're like, hey, we'll give you $10 million over 3 years. That's his dream. But right now he's worth probably $25 million a year.
Yeah.
He's playing.
In the NFL, they figured out the pay them early thing.
You know who did it?
You sign the extension now, even though they're still getting paid their rookie contract, but you sign an extension.
Yeah, you add 2 years to the deal. There's
You
not
add 4 years to
right.
the deal after that's what the Ravens are with Kyle Hamilton.
You know whose whole roster is built on that, and because of this player sacrifice is the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, he could have waited a year and got an extra $100 million, but the Knicks did it early, and he agreed to do it early so that they had flexibility to get Towns, Bridges, and other people.
Yeah. Guys who want to win.
Guys who want to win. All right, so KG comes to Boston, immediately changes everything. Practice intensity skyrockets. Young Celtics players admitted later they were scared of him.
Nice.
He demanded all these things: defensive communication, effort. He was like he came in and just changed the culture immediately. And Coach Doc Rivers was the coach.
Go.
He introduced. I had never heard of this.
By the way, we flamed Doc Rivers in the last episode.
I'm still not a Doc Rivers guy, by the way.
No one is. No.
This 1 year where he got KG and had a team built for him, they win. It's like,
Yeah.
was that him or was that the team? He never wins again.
Yeah. Sorry, Doc. Sorry. I just
Doc Rivers
let you catch more strays there.
Yeah, sorry, Doc. But you know what? Doc
Google him.
Yeah,
Google him.
Google him. All right, and also Google what JJ Redick said about him on First Take.
Yeah. Google it all.
Before JJ Redick was in the NBA and he was working in before he was back coaching and he was working in media, he said that Doc is the king of not taking accountability. Doc would blame everyone but him. Injuries, this, that. It was never Doc.
Google him.
And by the way, Coach Doc Rivers introduces his team. I never heard of this word, Ubuntu, which means team over self. That was the philosophy of that team, which is funny because now Doc is not known for that.
Listen, they got the ring.
Absolutely. Let's talk about it. Boston goes from 24 wins to 66 wins. KG wins Defensive Player of the Year. And then comes Lakers Celtics. Basketball royalty restored. Boston crushes LA in Game 6. KG has the moment, anything is possible, which Tatum tried to grift off of. When you think of NBA moments, that's one of them. The anything is possible.
Yeah.
And when you really understand the whole KG story of a decade on a franchise where he was stuck and dragging them into the playoffs year after year and constantly being belittled, like it was like the media and blah, you're never going to win a championship. Like, oh, you're good, but you're not really that good. You're not going to win. And it really wasn't his fault.
Yeah, I think we need to be careful when we say stuck, okay? He signed a contract that paid him $20 million a year.
Sure, but if not for their stupid, like illegal dealings, they wouldn't have lost picks. They would have been able to build around him.
But didn't he know that when he signed the contract? I think he did.
Could be, but the point, you're going to say no to $100 million?
I'm saying if
Like biggest contract ever, we're going to say no. What are you supposed to do?
all I'm saying is you lose some of your right to complain if you sign a massive 6-year contract with a team, knowing that they've lost assets and it's going to be hard for them to build around whatever they promised.
You can say yes. You can say yes to that, but also understand like their job is to build around you.
Yeah, but he knew what he was getting himself into. He'd already been a part of the organization. He knows they're a disaster. He knows they're not known for anything.
I do want to also say, this is 2004. This is KG is the beginning of player empowerment, like leaving and then building a big three. And then LeBron is like the beginning of it.
Shaq left.
Yeah, but it wasn't really done. People didn't just jump ship back then. It wasn't like now.
I don't know. Shaq did it.
Shaq got traded.
No, he did not.
We did a Shaq trade.
Not that one.
Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, we did the Shaq getting traded from the Lakers to the Heat.
Yeah.
I'm saying from the Magic to the Lakers. The Magic just didn't re-sign him. They couldn't wrap their head around the money, and he just bounced. Signed a massive deal with the Lakers. Free agent.
Okay. But he also, right, he was locker room problems, right? There was issues there.
With Shaq?
When he left?
I don't think there were so many issues.
No.
They were still like a very young team. Everyone was young on that.
I'll give you that one. But in general, stars stayed. It wasn't like the most like if you look around back then, guys weren't like jumping ship a lot.
That's fine. That's their choice, though.
I will concede that point to you. He did agree to sign. I get it. But the point is, this guy was one of the best players in the world. And the big question mark about him was always, you can't win. And I don't think it was his fault he couldn't win, is my point. Whether or not it was his fault he stayed there, you could say it might be his fault. But he didn't have enough around him to win.
Sure.
And that became the only noise he heard, to the point where he left. That noise is what made him leave. He didn't leave because, Minnesota. He left because he wanted to win. And because it was all, can KG win? KG can't win.
Yeah.
And it's just a culmination of all that. And he goes to Boston, he wins. It's a cool moment. Anything is possible. That's all I'm saying. It was the Celtics fan is hating on that anything is possible moment. It's a pretty cool moment to do what he did. It's a good story. And then let's talk about everyone else in trade real quick. Al Jefferson actually became a very good player, double machine, eventual All NBA player for a little bit. Gerald Green, freak athlete, bounces around the league a lot. Ryan Gomes is an okay pro, never a star. Sebastian Telfair was one of the most hyped New York City legends of all time, never really translated to the NBA. And then we talked about the 2 picks, which became Wayne Ellington and Johnny Flynn, nothing special. What's interesting is this trade changed the NBA. This trade is the original Big Three, and it basically gave permission to like the whole like superstars play together. And LeBron, Wade, Bosh, obviously it's different and they were free agents, but it was this was the beginning of that.
Yeah.
And it also proved stars could work together. That was always the question, like, there's only one basketball. You remember that used to be a thing, like, oh, you have these 3 stars, well, there's only one ball. Like, that won't work.
Still is a thing.
Yes and no.
People still say it.
It is true, but like that was a bigger thing back then.
Yeah.
But it's just a trade that like sets this domino effect where if this doesn't happen, I don't know. We don't know if LeBron ends up going to the Heat. Like, this is just the beginning of that era, the Big Three era. Right. I believe the Big Three era is over now. Now it's the depth era, right? But that Big Three era from like then till like 2016, let's say, or around that era, that was the Big Three era, and this was the beginning of it.
Yeah.
It is interesting because when you think back about it, they only won 1 ring.
Yeah.
Which, that is something. You win a ring. Was it worth everything they gave you? I would say yes, because like none of those guys turned out to be great. Al Jefferson, whatever, became good.
Absolutely. But the Celtics, to me, like, this is a phenomenal trade.
One of the best trades. I mean, a great trade. It's just when you think about it, like, It was only one championship, but they made two, right? They lost one.
Also, if we really want to go there, was it one championship? Because then they flipped them, and then those pieces turned into Tatum and Brown, and
It's a
then they
great
win
point.
another championship, and
And
they
make
continue the
another.
run.
You're right. You're right. I'll give you that. This is the beginning of the Celtics. Like that trade was really the Ray Allen trade, and then that trade was the turnaround. And now the Celtics have been good and relevant for 20 years.
Yeah.
So
Basically, like one down year.
yes. So this is a great trade. Don't worry, down years are coming.
Yeah.
Nick fan talking. But a great trade. I love the whole like the legacy thing just of KG. Like he needed that ring for his legacy. And it was all that mattered to him. And it's I think it's a great story. It just also just shows like it's all about like the GM and management like making the right move because the Timberwolves just couldn't do it. And still now they still haven't.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the Celtics with that move and then flipping that into other moves that we've discussed, it's all about like building the right way and making the right moves. And KG, I mean, just an amazing trade for the Celtics, an all-time legend, Hall of Famer, first ballot. I'm assuming he's already in. I'm not even sure, but and just a legendary career. So
Yeah.
cool story. Do we have anything else we want to talk scores?
Yeah. I mean, I actually like I'm coming down a little hard on this one.
Yeah, you've been negative all day. I don't know what's going on.
No, on the Timberwolves.
Oh, okay. Wow. Oh, so now you're
Sorry.
flipping. You were anti KG for most of this, but now
No, I mean I do happen to think that like I don't know. Like I really loved KG like as a kid. But I don't for whatever reason now, like looking back on his career, I'm just like whatever. Maybe you're right. Maybe I have to watch his highlights.
you gotta. I mean, the dude won an MVP,
Maybe I haven't eaten enough
Defensive
today.
Player of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
It could be there's some other factors going on. It could just be discussing Celtics right now is painful
Yeah,
too.
that could be.
Being out of the playoffs early, it's rough.
Yeah.
I've been there.
It's a common theme nowadays.
Yeah.
Um yeah, but like I think the Tim like I'm
Before we do a trade, can we just say I just want your prediction. Day one of next year's season, will Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both be on the Celtics?
I honestly hope not. I think I want them to get rid of Jaylen Brown. I just don't like him. Like,
You mean your Finals MVP? You don't like him?
no, I don't like him. I never thought he could dribble with his left hand.
I agree with that. I think there was something. It was weird that people were talking. Obviously, the stream after they lost the next day, and he's like, "This was the most fun season I've had." It's like this was my favorite year. It's like, dude, you won the finals a couple of years ago,
And he's complaining about Embiid flopping.
and all season he like had been throwing these subtle hints, like I love this, and it's like you can't act like so excited that Tatum's not there. And that's what he's been doing. He's been like subtle jabs, like this is so much fun being the guy and this season was my favorite season and like you keep throwing jabs like I don't like Tatum, like what's going to happen? They're going to choose.
Yeah, and he like I don't know. I think he's like a little whiny. He's a baby.
I
Like
think he's the smartest dumb guy I've ever seen. Like he's considered like a really brilliant guy and they say he's really really like high IQ and whatever, but then he says the stupidest stuff sometimes. It's like why are you shooting yourself in the foot?
yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of his. So
I do think they're going to start next season on the same roster, and I think maybe trade deadline something will happen.
but I don't know because
He's got a massive contract.
the Celtics are going to be yeah, but that's fine. The Celtics are going to be good in the regular season, I assume. I don't see why they
You know what? I take it back. I think there's going to be drastic changes. Celtics. I don't know what, but
see Brad Stevens interview.
I saw Brad Stevens. He's clearly he knows that this Celtics team was a fraud all season,
Yeah,
and he's going to make moves. I have a very like low key move that I think would be sick. The Celtics have become like three ball and they've moneyballed the crap out of basketball too much.
yeah,
Where like that doesn't work in the playoffs. Like because first of all, role players don't hit threes in the playoffs. Second of all, in the playoffs, it becomes a half court game. In the half court, you got to be able to create, the layups and mid ranges. You just score other ways.
yeah.
I would like the Celtics, if I was the Celtics, to trade Jaylen Brown. What do you think of this? Maybe he's involved in the trade, maybe not. But I think they need a paint presence. And I think the perfect one, who has not had the career he should have just yet, Zion Williamson.
Really?
Can you imagine if they just surround a bunch of shooters with Zion and Tatum?
Zion is actually one of my favorite
And
players
like that's the
ever.
exact like antithesis. Like they're the 3-ball team. Like get a guy who can only score in the paint and like get you the paint points you need when you need them.
My only problem with Zion is like it's similar to what I was saying with Darren Peterson. It's just like
The body and the
you just
physical.
I don't want to
But
touch those
but
things.
get him in Boston with Missoula and Tatum and the right
I'm
staff
on a
and
program.
get him on a program 100%. The other thing I'll say is it seems like Derek White's coming to the end a little bit. Like they need a real point guard. That's the truth. You in the playoffs, it shows more and more that the NBA has become like a 3-and-D league, right? And 3-and-D guys are like the most like important players in the league. Like, oh, 3-and-D, 3-and-D, you got to be 3, you got to be D. But then the playoffs come, and these 3-and-D guys who can't dribble, can't create buckets in the playoffs. You need guys who could beat their man. And the
Yeah,
Celtics haven't really had a true point guard since Drew Holiday left, I guess.
he was.
And even him wasn't really like a beat your man point guard. And both Tatum and Brown struggle shooting off the dribble, especially threes. So Embiid was able to just sit in the paint, and they were able to just drop coverage. Like they need a point guard who could make you pay for that. So
Yeah,
I believe their roster will look drastically different opening day next year.
I think so too. Brad Stevens is like
He's done. He's done with those guys. He
he's
didn't look
also
happy.
like Brad Stevens. I think is like I think he's just like a machine. You know,
Yeah.
like he won't think twice. He's just gonna like scrap the
As in
whole thing.
he doesn't feel emotion, you're saying? Like he won't feel bad about it.
No, I don't think so. I think he's
And but and Brown hasn't helped himself. Brown hasn't made himself the most likable like Celtics guy in the past couple of months.
yeah. I mean, I used to be like a big Celtics fan, and I really like. I just don't love watching them. Like they're not a fun team for me to watch.
Yeah.
I don't love. I'm not like
Well, I've heard some people call this, and I love it. They call it Chat GPT basketball. They've
yeah.
taken the heart and soul out of the game. The Celtics. It's all threes. There's no heart. There's no like. It doesn't. It's gross sometimes.
Right.
It's not fun to watch.
There's no flow. You don't want to watch every possession, and you know exactly what's going to happen. You know Tatum's going to hold the ball until there's 10 seconds. Then he's going to ISO. Then he's going to jack up.
It's either that or like transition quick, and we had a layup and we kicked it out for a 3 instead.
Right. Like you. I feel like I know exactly what's going to happen on every play. Whereas like I sit down and I watch these playoff
Knicks,
games,
and you love
I mean the Knicks especially
playing
really,
beautiful basketball.
like their offense.
And by the way, they just tied a record for most threes in a playoff game ever with like
Yeah.
26 or something. But it wasn't the way the Celtics did it. It was like with like breaking the defense down and kickouts and extra passes. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, hey, we're gonna just pass the ball around 3-point line until we get an open one.
Yeah, and listen, this could age terribly. We could be, you know,
It won't.
this
But
this
keep
could
going.
come out, and then it's gonna be
And
the
the Cavs or the
Cavs,
Pistons. Come on.
Pistons. We're recording this. This is Friday before
The Cavs
Cavs
Pistons game
Pistons game.
6.
Yeah, so we don't even know who is gonna join the Knicks.
Yeah. By the way, is there anyone who can like fix their legacy more with a championship than James Harden? If James Harden wins the championship, there's nothing you could say about him. The guy led the league in scoring like 5 years in a row at a point on the Rockets. He's an MVP. He's like all time in points, rebounds, assists. Like if this dude finds a way to win a ring, I don't think he will.
I don't
He
even
won't. But if he finds his way to a ring, is there anyone who could fix his legacy more?
I don't even want to hear like
But
about.
but answer that. Is there anyone? The only ones I could think of was that Philly team. Embiid and Paul George could have fixed their legacy more.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing with Harden is like, does it make up for? It's not like right. KG, for example, he was on one team and they never got him help and never get over the hump. James Harden has just like lost and screwed over 5 separate teams. I just don't think that
But then every
moves
new
the
team he
needle
comes
so
to,
much.
he still is 20 and 10 wherever he goes. He gets his 20 points, 10 assists. He always makes his centers better. Of course, I agree with you, but like what would this do for his legacy? Like if this dude had a ring, it would change everything.
I guess. Yeah.
It won't happen though.
Okay. Let's.
Out of the Knicks watch.
It's not gonna happen regardless of the Knicks.
Like
Like,
the West, whoever's in the West,
yeah,
not losing to the Cavs. They might lose to the Knicks. They won't lose to the Cavs.
yeah, I agree with that. Okay, I wanna grade this. I'm actually this is like to me. I have the advantage is that I'm looking at all my previous scores when I do this, and I think this is
One of the worst ones. What do you think?
like it is for the Timberwolves. It's really bad.
They did get a lot of assets.
Yeah, and did nothing. Like a
Nothing.
lot of assets, and then they flipped Al Jefferson also. Like they had him for 3 seasons, and then traded him to Utah, which is when we think of Al Jefferson, we think of
Yes, we don't think of
Utah
him.
Al Jefferson.
Yes.
You know, like I don't. It's a little mind boggling to me. Like I guess they got assets, but again, it's like they got assets from the super team, so like it was bad picks. I don't know. Like I'm putting it an 8.4. I'm putting it in Harden territory. Like Thunder dumping Harden. I think it's in that level, and like the Celtics immediately won with him. But this is
Right.
the bad scale. But still, like the Celtics immediately won with him, and then the Celtics used him to get more assets later on. Like,
Right. The Celtics
and the
obviously
Celtics got
is
real assets
right.
for
This
him.
is the Celtics maybe their best trade in their history just because of the dominoes that came after that.
Yeah. On the good scale, this for the Celtics,
It's
like
like a
it
10.
has to be like a 15.
Yeah.
Like
I would say I'm a little lower than you, but I'm with you. I would say like 7 point yeah, 7.9. I think because the only reason I'm not all the way up there in the eights is like the Harden trade was like shocking and ridiculous. This trade was not like Garnett was unhappy there. Um
right, like he had to go.
It was time, and they got what 5 players and 2 picks. So it wasn't the worst trade of all time, but it was bad, and what they did with those picks bad. So
We talk about this.
7.9.
I talk about this every week now, though. It's the Big Short again, right? Like I don't care that you got 5 players. You're just bundling crap together. When you bundle crap together, it doesn't make like it's not good now.
You're right about that, and you're right. I'm just a little lower than you on the scale, 7.9.
Yeah, that's my biweekly rant about sports teams being
Yes, bundling
bundling
crap
crap
together.
together.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. I think that's all we got. You
yeah.
good?
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to The Trade Rewind. You can find us on social media at The Trade Rewind on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. If you enjoy listening to the show, the best thing you can do for us is to leave us a 5-star on Spotify and share the episode.